Hello there, everyone. TheAndrata here, and welcome back to episode 76 of our Enigmatica 6 Expert Let's Play series, where today we're doing a bunch of stuff with refined storage and Xnet, autocrafting, all kinds of cool stuff. That way we can start progressing a little bit faster. So yeah, let's get started. Welcome back, everyone, to a wonderful night here in the world of TheAndrata, where we take our traditional morning nap and start off with the episode. So, in between episodes, I've done a little bit of work, just a few things, mainly to do with our refined storage. So first things first, we're sitting at 67 habaneros, so it's getting about time that we get our what is that called? Student meals thing cooking and getting it going for us. But we'll get there. Anyway, so if you pop up to our wizard tower, you're gonna see that everything here is gone and we have a pit down here of nothingness. So last episode, we had all this set up, we had crafters, we had everything all nice and hunky-dory, and I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and entangle my refined controller, and I'm going to put one over here, I'm going to put one over here. I went ahead and made 16 entangled blocks. I was so pumped. I'm like, we can entangle everywhere. I'm going to have an entangled block per floor. We're going to have it over here. Anywhere that we need refined storage, we're just going to entangle it, where it's not going to be difficult. Yeah, it doesn't work. Went onto the GitHub for the entangled mod. Entangled blocks do not work with refined storage or applied energistics, and it's not because the developer doesn't want them to. The way that it works is apparently the way refined storage works is you have your block here and you have your block here and you have cables connecting them. Each block expects another block to be attached to it, mainly either the controller and then the so like if this was the controller, you would want the crafter attached to it. And it looks for both of those blocks, apparently. When you entangle something, if I entangle the controller and I put it over here, we're going to have cables that are going to sit here going to a block, but they're not actually connecting back to the controller. The controller, you know, this side may be able to see it, but this side doesn't see this. It's a complicated mess. Anyway, that's where we're at, though, unfortunately. So I can't entangle everything to get nice, easy power transfer or refined storage transfer and everything. So we moved back home. And the reason being is because, well, we have all our automations. My storage is going to be set up down here because I didn't want to have, you know, a storage drawer wall over in our wizard tower. I want it all over here. So until we can get to the network receivers and network transfer, the dimensional transfer, we're just going to leave everything over here, and eventually we will move into this awesome wizard tower that I built that we have done nothing with since I built it like 40 episodes ago. We've used our factory more than we've used our wizard tower. It's kind of depressing, to be honest with you. And that's just because I have all this set up here, so I'm just too lazy to move everything back over. Real quick, let's check out our Builder's Tea. 128, perfect. We needed 120 of those. I had to add more clockwork honeycombs over here because, well, we needed more. We were at like 109, so I needed a few more, but we got it. Luckily, my bees run well. So let's go ahead and pop downstairs. We're going to talk about what's gone on down here. So first things first, you can see I have my controller sitting up here in the roof. Never done it this way before, where I have the controller centralized. I usually have it sitting on a wall and then cables coming up from there. But I figured let's centralize it here. So above it, I have a entangled block, as you can see there, that is entangled to our battery. This works fantastic, by the way. Energy cell, that's what they're calling this, right? Yeah, energy cell. That works fantastic, by the way. I love entangling the energy cells is great. Only caveat with it being is that you do have to set up a pipe to extract from it. Any kind of like the universal pipe has to extract from it. You can't place it next to a block and it automatically get power, but that's a minor inconvenience to allow for wireless power essentially anywhere. So we have that going into our controller, and then from our controller we have branches of cables coming off of each one, running straight down the center, and then it runs straight down the center back here. So it's one block, and then right behind the wall is the cables. And I have that going all four directions so that we have refined storage power everywhere. We'll talk about this in a moment. So we can access refined storage from anywhere without any issue. And then I have my crafters just coming off of here, off of a T cable. And if we take a look at this, we're using 1735 RF per tick. It's a lot of power going through our system right now. And we haven't even really done anything with refined storage. So definitely get yourself kitted out with refined. You can't really see it, but I did go ahead and upgrade our solar panels to hardened. I went ahead and made 5 more solar panels, or 6 more, I can't remember, and then I upgraded them to hardened, which is fairly simple. It's just literally energized steel and then the hardened capacitors. And we've had some of these dielectric casings from quest rewards, plus it's fairly easy to make. So I directly made more hardened ones, and then I upgraded the 5 that we had over here. It's really not that big of an increase. It's like a 400 RF per tick increase, but it works great. My bottleneck now is these cables. My basic universal cables can only transfer 3,000 RF per tick. We're generating like probably about 12,000 RF up there, if not more. Let's see, 6. I have 11 up there now, I think. Yeah, so we're generating at about 14K RF per tick, and we're only able to transfer 3. In order to get the other universal cables, though, we have to dive into mechanism. What is this? Universal sensor. We have to get into mechanism, which is not terribly too difficult. We just need to start working on getting this stuff going. And we have the energized steel. We have redstone available to us. Metallurgic infuser, though, this is going to be the complicated part. We'd have to get these unpacked PCB things, which is going to require us to get into industrial foregoing to make these memory essence, which is 8 buckets per. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? So this is 16 buckets per craft to make that, to make 2 of them. Oh my goodness. What if I wanted this advanced assembly table? It was actually just posted on my Discord about this for the advanced assembly table. It's a assembly table that sits inside of a pressure chamber. Kind of cool looking, but anyway, yeah, so we're not getting to that anytime soon, but sort of relatively soon. We can this is going to be the hardest part, is the this thing, these blazing agitator. That's fine though. I'd have to get to blazing tier, which is going to require 10 million RF per, plus I need to upgrade these to blazing, so it's a little bit away, but getting there. We're getting there. Anyway, so what I've done here is I set up our drawer controller that we made at the end of last episode. Did we get to it? Did I end up making it with you guys? I can't even remember. What was the recipe of this thing? No, we got to most of this. Yeah, we got the smart chest, but I think I don't remember if I made it in between episodes, or in between or before, whatever. Anyway, we have a drawer controller now, and all you have to do is attach the drawer controller and have it touching a set of drawers, and all of these drawers are now linked to the drawer controller just because they are all touching each other. So if we pop into the back here, again, my refined storage cables are coming out of here, and I have messes in my walls because I accidentally vein mined all of this stone brick up earlier, and so we have like holes everywhere. I accidentally vein mined this dirt. It was a whole thing. I was actually quite upset with myself for not paying attention. Anyway, so cables coming down into here, and we have 2 external storages. The first external storage is going into our drawer controller, and that is set to have a priority of 100. This is the first priority for anything to go into. If it can go into the drawers, it's going to go into the drawers. And then I have another external storage set to a stable wormhole here, and that is just regular priority, nothing fancy. And this is our normal storage. And as you can see here, we can hold 3.2 million items, it looks like, inside of our occultism storage, and we're using about 42,000 right now, so that's pretty darn good. And then that's sitting there looking all nice and pretty. Now we can, if we wanted to, we can facade this. If I get one of these stone bricks, and then I get a nugget of iron, I really need to switch over to using this system instead of this for accessing this whole thing, but I'm not quite there. I have no iron nuggets. That's okay. I have iron ingots here. That's a steel ingot. I have iron ingots here. By the way, I did go ahead and make those upgrades that I talked about, and we have 3 of the storage upgrades in each, only because I moved my glass in here and we ran out, so I had to add 3 of each. Again, not too difficult. I went ahead and processed a bunch of our straw, so we have our straw And we have rice, 513 rice, and we have, yeah, straw. So I processed pretty much all that rice panicle that we had up top. Anyway, if we convert this over here and we do this, that should make a cover. And then how do I apply this cover? Do I do it like so? Do I do it from the other side? I think it applies onto a cable, doesn't it? Yeah, which doesn't help me in this case. Oh, hollow cover. Maybe that's what I need. And then if I put this over here, ha, no, ha, no, ha, no, ha, no, nope. Okay, well, I guess I can't apply it on an external storage. That's okay, though. I'm not going to complain. Also, that breaks your cable, so be careful. I bet you if I use the wrench, I could pop those off without having an issue, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference. I'm not gonna cry over having that little gap there. It's fine. But yeah, anyway, and then I've just added some stuff to this, mainly all of our ingots that we had in the system, plus all the stuff that we had upstairs that were sitting along in our bins here. I haven't really added anything else to this, such as all of these things. I need to get all this transferred over to there so that it's all automatically going into the drawers. I'm just not, haven't had a chance to move everything over and get the stable wormholes set up, but it's not that big of a deal. What's in here? Oh, yeah, this was my mana processing setup. Okay. Today, what I want to work on is what you saw downstairs, though, and that is our crafter setup that I popped down there because I want to get auto crafting started. We need to get working on auto crafting. That way I can make my life easier. So what I did was make a bunch of each of the machines, or a duplicate of all of our machines. Let's go ahead and actually pop downstairs so I can show you guys. So if we take a look over here, I made an extra redstone furnace, pulverizer, and induction smelter. And then I went ahead and made 4 extra multi-servo presses. And then I took the one that we had upstairs and brought it down. Because each one of these has a different die in it for what it can produce. And yeah, I want to use these to auto craft. And then I set up crafters. And I actually taught our system how to make the crafters because I didn't want to do it. And that was so if I take a look at crafters, we taught the system how to make patterns earlier. I taught it how to make crafters. So we can actually craft some of these. I have extra of a lot of these things, but not that much. So we can make we can actually make 10 of these. Just would need one more polished quartz, which the system doesn't know how to make because it's a more complicated recipe. But anyway, that's where we're at with this. And so what I've done is literally all I did was set up Xnet, and I haven't done any of the channeling or anything like that. We have a energy cell out here pointing into our controller with a cable that is set to extract. And then it is then attached to a connector, which goes to our external thing. We need to go ahead and pop upstairs and go to sleep because it's nighttime and we are running out of power. It's our only caveat. We only have power during the daytime, not nighttime. But anyway, so energy cell getting power into our controller. There is a connector here that is set to pull attached to this as well, so we can power all our machines. And then we have cables running down into the back of all of our crafters. And I realize I don't need those because your crafters will chain off of each other. Anything refined storage that touches each other will connect to your system. Okay. So then what we have in here is our Xnet. Basically, I set up an extract channel on our universal cable called power. And so I have it set to extract from that cable, and then it just inserts into all the machines, including the controller itself. Inserting into the controller is unnecessary because this actually pipes into it directly, but it was already there and I clicked on it, so I did. And so what we're going to do is we need to set each of these machines up to, well, do the thing. And I'm now realizing I am missing one thing that is going to be crucial to this setup, and that is going to be, where is the thingamadingy? An interface. Yes, I need to get a refined storage interface set up so that way we can input items into our system. So let's actually go ahead and start working towards that. Okay, so an interface is going to be this guy here, and the interface is an interface into your system. It makes sense, right? Like, I don't think I need to explain what an interface does. The interface is into your system, allows you to input and pull items from your refined storage. We are just about out of cables too. I think I have more in the system, but I've laid out quite a lot. But interface to the world. So if we take this interface and we go ahead and put it, it actually is going to need connected to a connector. So if we put it not here, I mean, I guess I could put it here. I don't really like that though, but then I would need it connected to a connector. So if I put it here, but then I got to get it connected to refined storage. I had this thing looking so nice. All these cables, all perfect. It was all hidden and everything. And now I got to actually, do the thing. Now, if I look for a connector, I should have some more. Bam. And there we go. All right. You're connected up. Leave me alone. Don't look at me. You're kind of ugly, but whatever. You're in bag mode. Switch over. There we go. Okay. So now we have an interface. And now we can access that interface in our system. And apparently I have my controller is connected by a blank cable because the controller's on there twice because of this. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so what do we want to do with this? Well, we need to set up Xnet to basically manage all of our items because, for example, like I want for part of this recipe that we made for our crafters, one of the things it requires is brass plates. So like for the mechanical crafters, you can see here, the mechanical crafter requires brass casings, and brass casings, if we don't have them, require brass plates. Well, how do we make brass plates? In a multi-servo press. So if we go ahead and do this and we teach this recipe, we now have a processing recipe of one brass ingot equals one brass plate. So if we go ahead and pop downstairs and we find the plate one, which is going to be our first one, it's our blank one, and we go into our crafter, we can say, hey, one brass ingot equals one brass plate. So if I were to go upstairs, I could say, make me a brass plate. However, the machine doesn't know how to do anything with this yet, or items don't know how to flow properly. So let's go ahead and actually request the brass plates so we can follow this along. I have 4 brass left, so we can go ahead and say, hey, I need 4 brass plates. And what it's going to do is it's going to jam up. Basically, it's going to jam up. And what we need to make, while I'm thinking about it, let's get a crafting monitor going and a crafter manager as well, so that way we can access all these things from upstairs without having to come down here. You're going to be fairly cheap and you're going to be fairly expensive, but we'll get to it when we get to it. Okay, so this is our brass plate, and it's saying, hey, right now the craft is currently triggered. Like it's trying to auto craft, but it can't do it. It's unable to do anything because the machine is not configured, right? We have nothing set up here. But it's trying to put the items into this multi-servo press. So if I go ahead and turn on input from here, you're going to see, bam, it put our 4 brass ingots into this. However, they're kind of stuck. They're in our output slot. They're not doing anything. If I enable output, still nothing happens, right? Because we don't have items flowing anywhere. But it's fairly simple to get that taken care of. All we have to do is come over here to Xnet. We're going to go to a items channel, and we're going to create this, and we're going to turn it off. And this is going to be our extract channel, okay? And what we're going to say is our interface, this is where everything is going to go. So we're going to insert items into our interface. And then all we have to do is go over to our multi-servo press, and nicely, we got a little indicator here to say that the input is enabled on this one. So we know that that's our correct one, but we can, we can see it here. And if we were to pop down here, we could say, actually right click on this and we can name this. So this is going to be our no die. This is going to be our numismatic. Right? Did I spell that right? Numismatic. You are going to be our wire press. We'll do numismatic press. You are our rod press. Not roid. No drugs in here. And then you are going to be our gear press. Okay. And you are our no die press. Okay, so now that we have all these named, that'll make things a little bit easier when we come into here, because we'll actually be able to see the names. If you look where it says connector, I was pointing at my screen. You can't see my screen, or my finger at least, but connector, wire press, numismatic press, so we can see all that. So what we want to do is say, okay, Mr. No die press, we're going to go ahead and set an extract on you, and you're going to extract, and you're just going to extract from the first slot because you don't have multiple slots. And that's basically it. Now inside of here, depending on the connector that you have, because there are 2 different connectors from Xnet, if we Xnet it up and we do connectors, you have your regular connectors, which is what I have hooked up here, and then you have your advanced connectors. And I could have gone advanced connectors, I just didn't. Maybe in the future we will, and then if that's the case, we can use these connector upgrades. But you can control your speeds. You can control if you want to have a stack pulled out. You can blacklist certain items. Xnet is extremely powerful for this kind of stuff. But if you can control the speed by right clicking or left clicking here. The regular connector has a max speed of 10 ticks per operation, or number of ticks. It is 1 operation every 10 ticks. Whereas the advanced can do 1 operation every 5 ticks, so it's faster. And the advanced ones allow you to control which side it operates from, which is actually extremely handy, because you can have it set up so that you can have 1 connector on the bottom, and that connector can actually interface with the front of the machine or the side of the machine. So like if we needed to extract from this left side here, we would be able to, even though all of these are touching and we don't have access to that, this connector can actually access that side. It's pretty cool. But we didn't do that. We went regular. So if we turn on our extract here, you're going to see everything pulled out. Everything went into the interface, and that's it. It actually worked that quick. And if we pop back up here, if we go look at brass, we should see brass plates. So 4 more brass plates. Also, we have 103 brass casings, so we're not going to need brass plates for a little while. And we also have a bunch of andesite casings. I went ahead and emptied out what was in that thing out there. Let's go ahead and sleep again. And yeah, that's basically how we're going to set up auto crafting for all of these things. So what I need to do now is go ahead and set up recipes. Now, here's my problem, my caveat with this whole setup here. Also, I need to work on getting our oak down here. We're about to run out of spruce, finally. It's been, what, like 40 episodes? My problem here is that we only have 9 slots for each of these. And there are upgraded tiers of the crafters. If we look at Iron Crafter, that's the next tier. However, it is a little bit more expensive. First off, requires these hardened integral components. Yay. I did make those for all of these, and they're a little bit easier now that we can buy the PCBs, but it's still a pain. Then we're going to need an advanced control circuit from Mechanism, but it's not made with Mechanism. No. It is made here in, what's this mod? Industrial Foregoing. And what is the difference between this recipe here? Because, like, this makes 2, but it requires 3 reinforced slates to make 2, whereas this makes 1. What's more complicated? I guess this would be 16 buckets of this, which is, yeah, look at all this micro crafting. Yum. That's why we're setting up auto crafting. Yeah, getting iron crafters going to be a little while. But anyway, so we can only have 9. And yes, we can set up, like, I could set up another crafter on the front of this machine or on the back of the machine to be able to access everything if I needed to get more. And we could just set that as an input. 100% possible. We'll see if we end up needing to do that at some point, but for now, this is where we're at. So what I want to do is go ahead and get recipes set up for all of these, and get all of these set up as they should be. So basically, all of these are going to be the same. Like, they're all going to be, we're going to extract from the bottom on all of these. Every machine is getting an extract from the bottom, and everything's going to insert into our interface. And then we just need to go onto each machine, say input here, output there, input here, output there. And Xnet will actually pull the item, so we don't need to auto output. And refined storage pushes the item, so we don't actually need the auto inputs enabled and disabled. Or, well, enabled, because it does it for us automatically. Bam, bam. So technically all of these are set up and ready to go. We just need to get the recipes, we just need to get recipes in here so that we can get auto crafting going. And this is going to make things a lot easier. You may be wondering why. Why do you want to auto craft? Well, as you can see with those brass plates, instead of me having to go up here, get the brass out, go over to the multi-servo press, cook it up, come back to it, put it in the system so we can craft. Refined storage will just do all of that for us. And I love auto crafting. It's the reason that I decided to set up refined storage, because sure, I could have just used occultism. I mean, everything's in here other than the annoyance with this. With this, everything works fine. Like, we can craft, we can do whatever we need to. If I needed to make a wireless transmitter, I can actually make a wireless transmitter right now. Okay. I actually didn't know I could just make the wireless transmitter. I didn't know I had everything I needed for that. But anyway, yeah, we can just do that. However, having it in refined storage means that we can auto craft. So like if I wanted to make a crafter, I already have some of these things. Like I have one, I need 3. It does the math for me. It figures out what we need to do. And all I got to do is click this fancy button that says start, and it'll automatically craft the thing for me. I don't have to do any of the work. And I like doing less work. The less work TheAndrata has to do, the faster the episodes are, or the faster we're going to progress. And it's less work I have to do in between episodes, which is great, because these episodes have been starting to become a lot of in-betweens. More in between than on between or on camera, which is fine. That's an expert pack. I'm totally okay with it and everything, but the lesser of that I can do, the better. Make sense? Anyway, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and teach the system how to make some of the most common recipes that we're using. Like some of these rods, like if I look, probably aluminum rods, and then maybe tin rods, steel rods. For our wire, we'll teach you how to make like the electrum, copper, lead, aluminum, things like that. I also apparently have another metal press wire. I also have another metal press of packing. Now, this one I did not set up a multi-servo press. If it ends up being needed, we will. I had to make this for what? Something required me to make this, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, it was the hot compressed iron when we were going into our compressed iron. But we don't need this anymore. Compressed iron is, we have other ways of making compressed iron now, correct? Mainly the 66 blocks of it that we have in our system. Yeah, or we can go this route now instead of having to do this superheated. This was only to get your first ones, and then after that, you're good to go. So yeah, that's where we're at. Next episode, I want to work on getting us our centrifuge going, so that way I can take care of this wall of things. And then that way we can start processing this. It was mentioned in the comments that I probably should save some of this stuff. That way we don't yeah, why did you go there and not there? Anyway, we need to save at least, I would probably save like a stack or 2 of each of the honeycombs and put that in our system. That way, or maybe have it separate from our system, because some crafting recipes actually require the specific honeycombs. Like I think gold honeycombs are used specifically to make some certain things. Potentially, it was mentioned at least. Like gold and iron might be needed. That says any honeycomb. That says any honeycomb. Anyway, yeah, we may need some specific ones in the future for some purpose. Like for example, if we wanted to make an altar of birthing of a zombie. Nope, never mind. I lied. Okay, well, you know what? Whatever. We'll save some of them. There we go. Bam. In order to make a celestial bee, we need gold honeycomb and iron honeycomb. Okay, there we go. Got it. Found something that uses it. Anyway, or the gourmand dynamo will generate 3200 RF from a gold honeycomb. Kind of cool. So you will save some of these, but I want to get all of this moved over to our wall. And I'm just like, I'm debating, do I want to have the honey? Because here's the thing, we have a massive backlog of honeycombs now, but that's not going to be the case in the future. We eventually will process through all of this stuff. It's going to take a long time, but it will process through. And then we're going to have drawers sitting here that are just basically intermediary storage. A honeycomb will come out of our beehive, it'll hit here, and then it'll export immediately into our centrifuge. And then those drawers are basically going to sit there doing absolutely nothing for us. Man, you are just chewing through this charcoal all of a sudden, aren't you? Like, I don't understand. Why are you running so much? I guess it's just because we're using so much with our refined. that it's just chewing through power. So this is just constantly running. Not that we really need this anymore. Like it's not hurting me to get rid of that. 240 RF a tick. One of my solar panels is 5 of those, so it really doesn't hurt anything. Like if it runs out, it runs out. I'm not going to cry about it. But anyway, yeah, so that's where we're at. I want to get this converted over to drawers and then attach it to our wall over here. That way we can have this and then get a centrifuge going. So next episode, centrifuge is where we're going to be. I'm probably going to make this crafting monitor and crafting manager in between episodes, and then we'll talk about them and what they do. And then after that, really, it's time for us to start getting all of this, the engineer school project, going, because, well, that's basically where we're at. So yeah, anyway, that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate it, and it really does help out the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.